Hi everyone, I hope you are doing well. Today is July 17th, which is also, of course, 717. That is a number that has become very synonymous with people who identify as twin flames. I myself used to identify myself as a twin flame. I do still believe, obviously I had that type of connection that awakened me, but I'm trying to move away somewhat from the label of it, and obviously focusing on the union and this fairy tale happy ending. The journey has much more become about my own self growth, which is, I think, one of the big reasons that 717 is associated with that journey. Sevens are about the evolution, the spiritual growth, the change, that you're on the right path. And 717 is, of course, a mirroring number. And one of the things that happens, in these unique soul connections, and it doesn't have to be just one person. You definitely find that once you're awakened and you are on the spiritual path, that you start to mirror not just romantic partners, but others around you. Everything is a reflection, as above, so below, as within, so without. So you start to see that you can grow and gain the wisdom and insight from every situation. But there are, for those of you who identify with a very special, specific soul connection that you just can't seem to move past, that it's significant for some reason, that you're having trouble moving on from, that you want some sort of validation, maybe that you're not crazy. That's why I wanted to come on here today. I just felt called to provide this type of a reading, which I haven't really done that many of those, but I do tend to try to focus on self-empowerment and try to encourage people not to put their life on hold and wait for one specific person, because even if something comes through, we get cards about union, we get cards about all these things. People do have free will, and the energy can change, and shift, as we know, with celestial cycles, with seasons that go by, and with a person's own external factors that they have going on. So this is just a snapshot, and really what Spirit wants you guys to know now. That being said, I am focusing this first part of this reading on messages from this person's higher self, right? What would their higher self want to tell you about where they are right now? What would their higher self want you to know about how they're feeling? Either, they felt in the past, maybe things come through about, why they acted a certain way or didn't do something a certain way. And perhaps we get into what their intentions are. Now, I am going to record an extended video here for this. And while the first part of the video is really going to be more messages from this person's higher self to you and kind of looking at where they are and what's going on in their life, the extended version is going to get in depth. I'm going to pull a spread from Sacred Union Tarot and look at the dynamic itself between you and this person, as far as what's happened, what the cards show it could potentially happen, but more importantly, what you're meant to learn from this relationship, from this dynamic, as a part of this journey. Where is it taking you? And just guidance and from Spirit about how to help you move forward and move on and detach and become the best version of yourself. To me, that's what 717 is about. It's about self-empowerment, self-union, and getting to that point where you aren't even referring to union anymore. So just to give you guys kind of that introduction, that heads up about what it is that kind of my focus is. I do want to help people, because I've been here myself. I awakened in, it was May 2017, so it's been 5 years, and there were several years that I spent celibate, that I spent saying I wasn't waiting for a specific outcome with a specific person, but I sort of was, even if I didn't consciously think I was. But it took a lot of time and, a lot of introspection to realize that that time was a gift from him and from his higher self for me to hold space. But ultimately, what ended up happening was I ended up falling in love with myself. I, at that point studied tarot. I became a Reiki master. I dove headfirst into my spiritual mission and my spiritual learning, rediscovering who I am, coming back to my authentic self. And all the times that I was rejected or, that he ran, was more time for me to really turn inward and shed, conditioning and wounds, and the triggers were a gift. And so what I want to help my viewers who are in the same situation is to help you, understand that you absolutely can get to a point. I know there are times when you're on your knees and you're just like gutted and the pain, because they trigger these things out of you, the codependency, the abandonment wounds. It's gut wrenching and it's not an easy process, but it's a beautiful process. I just realized, guys, as I started talking, I didn't turn my masculine and feminine onks on. So we'll see if they stay on. I haven't changed the batteries in a while, but we've got the masculine and the feminine balanced here. So I'll get to that in a moment. Anyway, I digress. But, my purpose here is to help give you clarity on what is happening and why, and to help you know that you're not crazy, right? So if this is resonating for you when we tap into this energy, then I would encourage you to check out the extended, and the link for that, it should go directly to my Shopify, directly to the product, and what it is that you will purchase the product, which will have this specific 717 soul connection extended video, and then you should receive, again, I did a test one for myself today, but you should receive a download of a Word document that then has the link to the video in it. So if for some reason you have any issues with that, you can, please email me at the email address I have below, and I will make sure that I get you that link. But, bear with me. This is a new process, but I'm excited to bring this opportunity for extended content to you because, if you feel like this is a personal reading, if I'm tapping into your situation, then the extended video is a heck of a lot cheaper than a one-on-one personal reading would be with me. So that's a way that I can hopefully offer some more economical options to you guys as a thank you for your support. One other thing, I was just talking about the onks, and I don't have these exact onks for sale in my shop, but I do have many versions that are, like probably this big, that light up, and they're rainbow colors. They change colors. But if you do have any interest in these, I may be able to procure, these are handmade by someone I know, so I don't know, he had limited quantities, but if it's something that interests you, I can look into it and find out the price and see if I can get one or both for you. I do have these intention stones. You can't really see all of them here. This one says balance. I was called to bring that one out. Dream and healing. I just was feeling this candle ambiance and the masculine feminine energy here, but I have those for sale in my shop. I have various varieties with different intentions on them that are great for manifesting and meditation and crystal grids and those types of things. So anyway, apologize. I know this is a long intro, but I will timestamp this if you do want to skip to the reading itself. We will get started, and I will list the decks, all the decks that I'm using down below for both videos. That way you will be able to see what decks I'm using in the extended as well before you purchase the extended. All right, guys. So what we're going to do first, we are going to tap into, I am, again, making an assumption. I use the terms masculine and feminine. I use those interchangeably, but a lot of times, masculine is a physical male by, gender, and but we all have masculine and feminine energy within us. Most of my readers are females. So, I'm making an assumption here that you're watching and trying to tap into a masculine's energy, but, this could apply for same-sex couples. Just take it how it resonates, and, we'll go from there. But we're going to tap into the energy of the person that, you view as your soul connection, and see what's going on with them right now. All right. So let's do that. I'm shuffling off camera here. I'm using the Tarot of the Dragons. I'm associating that with some masculine energy. We're just going to see what's going on with this person right now. We're going to see what's going on in their life, where they're at. Wow, that's beautiful, guys. And I'll show you, I'll hold up the cards and then try to set some of them up here so you guys can see them. Wow. Okay, Page of Wands is on the bottom of the deck. Sorry, I'm getting messages to keep pulling cards here. Okay. What I'm getting about this person is that they are undergoing some intense transformation right now. I get the feeling that they have been working on themselves quite a bit, specifically, in the material world, the financial world. We've got the Knight of Pentacles here, right? This is kind of in the recent past couple of weeks position. So they are kind of, it's almost like they're taking flight. I mean, this dragon is literally taking flight, kind of in this victory mode, and there's like this gold streaming off of these, the coin, and he's kind of leaving. I feel like he's sort of leaving like the earthly, he's starting to like, because you've got the deer here, right? Like, kind of like his worries about finances behind. He's starting to take off in something. He may have gotten promoted at a job. He may have switched jobs. I feel like whatever's happening here is very positive. I feel like he's starting to get in alignment with his truth. I feel like, what I'm seeing, we've got the Star. It was the first card out, which is just beautiful. I mean, here we have it again. The dragon is rising again. So he may be getting, messages from, his higher self. He's getting guidance, spiritual guidance for sure. Because look at all this. Like, he's really starting to, I feel like the Star, and it's interesting because it's number 17 and today is 717. I feel like if he's not awakened, there's definitely an awakening that's happening. But I feel like the emotions that are coming up with this process are really overwhelming him. You can see the dragon is coming out of the water, and the water is dripping off the wings. And it's almost like, but this is almost like a surrender. This is like a surrender to what is happening. Like, I feel like I'm getting the impression here, especially with the Knight of Pentacles, that it's been a slow process, that this may be somebody that you have known for years, I'm getting, probably not somebody you've just met, most likely. I mean, but if you have, don't let that discourage you from watching this. But I'm just getting kind of slower energy. Like this person has been fighting this process for a long time, and they're finally starting to like free themselves from these restraints. They are still somewhat in their head, though. We know masculines tend to do that, tend to be in their head, because what's kind of blocking them from fully surrendering, right? The opposing energy to this star is the Five of Wands. So this is the conflict and competition card, where it's just like these battles or, in their head. But I feel like with whatever is going on with them, their desire to free themselves from these restraints, they can't suppress it much longer, is what I'm getting. I'm getting that in the past, they weren't tapping into their intuition, and they were very intimidated by you as the feminine, who was very much tapped into her intuitive energy, who very much was in alignment with her truth and speaking her truth. They didn't feel that they were on your level. What I'm getting, I'm not seeing them with, as if there's any kind of, I'm not picking up on that. Now we're going to see what messages from their higher self, we have. I'm getting the impression, like, especially if this is a situation where you've known this person a long time and this has been years, like that this, since that there was this, what's the term, catalyst, since there was this catalyst situation where they awakened you, that they're now in the throes of that process. I am not picking up on karmic situations. I feel like there may have been some of that in the past, but I'm not seeing that now. The High Priestess is kind of the current energy. So I feel like their intuition is guiding them to go inward. We don't have the Hermit card here, but I'm very much getting that. I'm feeling that energy strongly, that they're just in their own world right now. Really kind of, I feel like it's like this, and we've got some other cards that are showing this, that it's been a long journey for them. It's been a long journey for them to finally surrender and get out of their head and stop fighting what is happening. Because, with the true, and I don't want to disparage, anybody, but there are people in the community that, in general in life, that, they excuse toxic relationships or situations, narcissistic, as a twin flame dynamic. And, your twin flame should never ever be cruel to you, mean, abusive. They might say things that trigger you, but they would never intentionally hurt you. They may run, they may push you away, they may not admit feelings, but they would never physically harm you. So anyway, I just want to get off my soapbox there, but they can't resist what, with a true, where I was going with this, sorry, with a true soul dynamic, right? You really, like, once you awaken and you get on this journey, when you resist the transformation that is a part of this process, it's an alchemical process where, you're supposed to ascend to a higher level of consciousness. And if you fight that process by continuing to engage in, meaningless sex, abuse substances, do things that aren't in your highest and greatest good, the pressure is just going to keep boiling and boiling and boiling. Like this Five of Wands, like, the universe will just turn up the heat, right? Until, like, create tower moments. We don't have the tower here, but that's the energy I want to convey, where it's like, this isn't sustainable anymore, and if you keep resisting it and fighting it, um, it's going, things are going to keep crashing down. You're going to keep having struggles and challenges because you're not flowing in the direction of where your intended path is supposed to go. And I'm not saying that I'm not making any kind of statement here that this person's intended or destined path is to end up with you, the viewer. It certainly could happen, but the ultimate purpose, right, of this is to awaken and find your true authentic self and embody that unconditional love, whether you're with this person. This is about the journey of self, and this is about, embodying unconditional love and Christ consciousness and fifth dimensional energy and anchoring new earth, right? There's a lot bigger mission here, for us as light workers and star seeds, than getting in union with this person, this very specific person. And there's something too that, I'm being conveyed to share, is that a lot of it for a long time, there's a fairy tale aspect where you think, oh my God, because you've never felt anything like that, right? When you're activated by somebody, you think that if you're just with them, like, all your problems are going to go away. You can work through your problems together. Everything's going to be perfect. But, there's a lot more to it. And there's no such thing as perfect relationship, right? So you can't put this person on a pedestal, because that, even if you don't tell them that, or they know that you're doing that energetically, they can feel it. So this is really about becoming your own best friend, becoming your own love, becoming your own soulmate, and then everything else, can fall into place. But you've got to respect and honor that this person is also going to have to go through their own journey. And, given it's an alchemical process, given that, at least all the evidence I'm seeing, based on the journey and the path and all the people that I know, the females, the feminine energy typically wakes up first. And, as I was saying, it's been years, for me, 5 years since it happened. And, there's just now, I'm seeing aspects with the masculines on this journey, where they're starting to get the Knight of Pentacles energy, right? They're starting to awaken, become more conscious. So it is not a quick process. I know we say the whole divine timing thing, but they have to go on their own journey, and it can't be forced. They have to figure it out for themselves, and ultimately they have free will. And so, what people need to understand is, the outcome of this may very well just be that you've been led back to your authentic self, you've awakened to your true self, and you have this unconditional love you embody, where you attract someone else high vibrational. It very well, the outcome, what I want people not to focus on is the outcome being with one person. Okay, so but that being said, what I'm seeing is that, as I alluded earlier, this person was completely intimidated by your strength, by your fire. I'm getting to, for some of you, now the star is Aquarius as far as the tarot archetype, but this is obviously water energy with them, coming out of the water. The dragon itself is blue. And we also, the opposing energy was fire. So I'm getting that, for some of you, you may be a fire sign or have a lot of fire in your chart, just strong, passionate. Maybe you came on too strong. And that, and they may be a water sign or have a lot of water in their chart. But a lot of times with these connections, these dynamics, you do have opposite energy. You have that yin and yang that needs to become balanced. But ultimately, like I said, you end up realizing, oh my gosh, if I'm too much in my fire, too much in my passion, my masculine energy as a feminine. You know, I need to dial it back, and I need to work on embracing whatever it is that's too much. I need to scale it back and embrace that part of me surrendering, right? So the feminines have had to surrender a lot into their own divine feminine essence. And I'm getting to that now that that is happening for many of us, that this masculine energy can do the same. But what's beautiful here is that, you know, he wants to be in his king energy before he comes back. Because I think if this is a journey, you know, that you've been on for a really, really long time, you're not going to accept the crumbs anymore. You're not going to accept the page. You're not going to accept the Joker, right? But he wants, this is the King of Wands, the Sire of Wands is what it's called in this dragon deck. But he wants to be in this energy and have confidence, because he knows my feeling, you know, of what I've got here too, is like his emotions are overwhelming him at this point. I feel like the reason, you know, a lot of you, if this person is not in a relationship, which again, for this energy I'm channeling, I'm getting that they're not. I'm getting that the feelings are just so overwhelming for them that they don't want to come back unless they can come back for good. Okay? They don't, the whole in and out, we don't have the Knight of Wands energy. We have the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles, they're slow moving, but they're steady. They're building something. But he knows he needs to show up as the king if he's going to show up. I guess we'll see here. Whoop. Set that there. Now, what's happening right now, he is moving on to calmer waters. We've got the Six of Swords. He's rising above. He's rising above the past. Look at this. So the past pain, the past heartache. We've got this empty vessel with these swords in it. This imagery in this deck is just so powerful. It's almost like, I mean, I've got chills. Like what I'm getting, it's almost like, can you see the little baby dragon on its back? It's like he's taken his inner child, his wounded inner child, out of this boat with all this pain and all this, and he's rising above it. I feel like that's what he had to do. It's taken a lot of time and a lot of resistance, but I think the masculines on this journey are facing their shadow self, and they are healing. You know, I think that I'm getting, you know, this energy, I feel like, is like what's propelling them forward, is that they are doing this. I feel like there's still a little bit of feeling like they're not good enough. We've got Four of Pentacles here, which can be kind of like the scarcity mindset. Like they feel like, especially if you're a feminine who is very much in her power, strength, you know, self-employed, just killing it, right? He feels like he doesn't maybe have enough to offer you, which, you know, I know is frustrating, because a lot of times, you know, there's that fairy tale of, oh, like, it doesn't matter. I just, you know, you just want to be with this person. And, you know, the reality is, you know, if you, the viewer, if you're embodying the queen or the king, whichever you identify with, in all the elements, right? If you are the Queen of Wands and you're in your confident, passionate, creative, power energy. If you're the Queen of Pentacles, you've got your shit together financially, you've got a good job, a good career. If you're the Queen of Cups, if you've got the open heart and the healed, you know, the inner child, and you love yourself. And the Queen of Swords, where you've got, you know, you're not too much in your head. You're setting boundaries. That's something that we've had to learn to do on this journey. God knows, right? Set those boundaries. Love yourself, and, you know, not let anybody in who isn't worthy of you. And you've had to do it with this person. And I think they know that. I think they realize now they're not going to be able to come back unless they are a king, right? That person, like, they need to show up in all those ways. They need to embody all of the energy that you do, and so that it can be balanced. Because if it's not balanced, you know, I think you may have them on a pedestal thinking it doesn't matter, you know, that if they're balanced or not, or if they're lacking in a certain area. Nobody has to be perfect. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying for this to ultimately work and be a successful union, potentially a potential relationship, the fantasy aspect has to go out the door, and somebody has to be ready to show up in all the ways that you are showing up. Okay. I do feel like they do still have some more healing to do, because they just look at you like we've got the Empress here. The Empress is about fertility. It's about new beginnings, but it's the divine feminine, you guys. You can't make this stuff up. But the Ten of Swords is here. But, the Six of Swords was the action forward. Like, they're flying. Let me look at this image here. Wow. So, remember how I said they're taking the, the six is, they're moving towards that. So, six is not obviously the end, right? The 10 is the end, but the end is not far behind. We've got the 10 coming. This is overcoming addictions also, but for me, it's like closing out that cycle of all that past pain that's made them afraid to come forward and claim the Empress. Now, what's interesting to me, though, let me see what we've got here. We've got, this was 6, 7, 8, 10. Okay, sorry guys, I'm just like getting these messed up here. Okay, so the outcome, which, I would look at this as probably this summer time frame. But, depending on when you're watching this, just take it, this is timeless. Page of Swords is here. And for me, pages, you want them to show up as a king. And what's really crazy to me, what's interesting, is that when I was guided to keep pulling cards after I got the Page of Swords, because I wanted to, the Page of Swords can be communication. So I wanted to see if there's something that they're communicating. Like, what came right after it was the Page of Wands. Then we got the Three of Cups, and then we got the Page of Cups. So what I'm getting is, like, if you hear from this person this summer, I feel like it could open the door to like a new beginning in the connection, right? Because we have the butterfly here on top of the sword. But what we have is more pages, like blowing smoke. I mean, Page of Wands can be passionate communication. It's definitely communication, right? I do feel like this person, if it's meant to be, they will contact you. I would not sit around and wait. I would really not reach out to them. I would say, maybe if you have a, reason to reach out to them, let's say, even if you guys don't talk very often, or you haven't talked in a while, but you have a tendency to always contact each other on your birthdays or some sort of special occasion, if in the country that you're in, there's a holiday or something like that. If that's in alignment with the past and what you normally do, fine. But, my recommendation is, as, assuming you're the female energy doesn't chase. The female energy is receptive. And if this person isn't contacting you, it's for a reason. They're not ready. And it doesn't necessarily mean, we'll get to this in a minute. We're going to look at some messages from their higher self. But, it just means that it's not time, and you can't force it. If this person wants to be with you, if anybody wants to be with you and wants to be in your life, they're going to be banging on the door. Nothing can keep them away. It's an excuse if they're too busy or they have this going on. If they wanted to, they would. And so I apologize for the tough love. I myself had to learn that for a while. And I'm telling you, if you keep, I don't like to use the word waiting, but if you kind of think, oh, I'm going out there and I'm doing my own thing and I'm living my best life, but I'm not really dating, after a while, you have to sit there and ask yourself, okay, how much longer do you want to wait? You'll know the time, right? At some point, it was, for me, it was 4 years. And I finally, I did put myself out there and meet somebody great last fall. And, you know, just a wonderful, high vibrational, good, healthy connection. You know, ultimately, I did end up realizing that this person wasn't the person that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with, right? And at almost 43 years old, you know, you have to decide, right? Just because this is a great connection doesn't mean this is what I want. But I was truly happy and, you know, definitely learned so much about myself and what about things I thought I wanted in a relationship. And ultimately, I've realized, you know what? I'm really kind of happy just being in my own divine feminine energy and traveling and doing my own thing. So that's what I would encourage you to do, right? Sorry to digress, but I guess I'm just saying, don't, you know, if what I'm seeing here is that if they come in, you know, if there is this sort of like a mending energy, right, with this butterfly, that can be very beautiful. But they're still, they want to be a king. And when I kept pulling cards, I got 3 pages, right? So they may be a little more solid financially when they return, but Page of Swords, Page of Wands, Page of Cups. Page of Cups can be an offer, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it's almost like he's like looking at himself in the water. There's like, you know what I mean? There's not a holding out the cup to another physical dragon that's there. And what's interesting, I wonder, well, perhaps maybe in this deck, I haven't used it that often. Maybe all the dragons in the cup suit are blue. But in any event, you know, we got the water sign, but the star, we've got this, you know, masculine here. They're just looking at themselves in the mirror. It's like they want to say these things. They want to, but will they? 3 of Cups is an energy of celebration. It can be a proposal, but what I'm getting here is more for fun. Like they may ask you out. You may, you know, but I'm not getting anything that's like this, that they're going to be ready to commit or offer you anything substantial or solid, at least this summer. That's all we're kind of looking at is like kind of the immediate energy next like 7 weeks or so. So what I would say is if they come back in and it's, you know, don't be afraid to put yourself out there to explore other connections. Okay. So let's see what they want to tell you, what their higher self wants to say. We are going to look at the Twin Flame Journey Messages Volume 2 from Mystic Moon. And we're just going to pull a couple of messages and see what they... Whoa. Okay, yeah. I'm definitely getting that, guys. I'm going to pull one more, please. Okay. So the first message is, my family and upbringing are a bigger factor than I realized. So this is definitely in alignment with this here, that he's realizing and recognizing how his child core wounds have affected him. But this is what's preventing him from making a commitment to you or to anyone else. It's, you know, to me, I mean, for some of you, it could be religious factors, but I'm really not getting that. I'm getting it's more the insecurities, the fears, the not feeling good enough, and just feeling wounded and damaged. So that's part of what's going on. So I'm going to put these up here. Let's see if I can get this to stay. I'm trying to think of what I want to say to you. I mean, you guys, you can't make this stuff up, right? We've got 3 pages that came out. Page of Swords is obviously, you know, the mental energy. They're in their head. They want to communicate. That's evident with the 3 pages coming out. But they're in their head. They're conflicted, right? With this 5 of Wands energy. I'm trying to think of what I want to say to you, because they know that they need to show up as a king. And they still, unfortunately, what I'm seeing here is they're still in a page energy. They're still in the page energy, and I think they know, because on the bottom of or actually the next card I had pulled out was the Queen of Swords. They know that you are in this energy. They know you're in the Queen of Swords. They know that you're not going to put up with nonsense anymore, right? So look at this. This is fascinating to me, because she's like taking her sword and cracking open the egg, and there's nothing inside of it. I think that's an egg. I'm going to go with it. Yeah, because it's a nest. It's like she's trying to find something to eat, something to sustain her. The flowers look like they're drooping, and there's nothing inside. And she's not going to, you're not going to be able to, that he's not going to be able to hide behind the facade of a crumb anymore and come in and out of your life because you're in this energy. Okay? So he knows that. He's trying to figure out what to say because he wants to open up the doors of communication. He would like to do that, but I think he's just sees you as this high priestess and this empress and this queen of swords and embodying this just like goddess energy, and he doesn't feel ready to step up as a king, so he doesn't feel like he can show up at all. That's what I'm getting. It all comes down to timing. And so, that's what I was saying too. I mean, the star is a healing alignment, but also kind of a divine timing. Divine timing. That almost reminds me kind of a Zodiac, little dragons flying around. Like, it all comes down to timing. So, he's still working on himself, and who knows how long that's going to take, right? He's working on himself to become a better person. Not only, not just for the potential to be with you. I think maybe that's in the back of his mind, but just to have a successful relationship with anyone. He recognizes his family not bringing are a bigger factor, and that's why he hasn't been able to have a successful relationship, and he's got to heal those wounds first, right? So the timing is you go out and do your own thing, you live your life, and I would encourage you, seek out healthy, high vibrational connections, because part of the timing aspect could be that you have lessons to learn in other relationships before you can come into union with this person, if it's meant to happen. But you may be surprised. You may find that, gosh, there's this great person out there that I really enjoy their company, and it makes it easier to detach from this situation. And I can tell you, the more you detach and pull your energy back within yourself, the more magnetic you're going to become, and the more pressure, like the pressure is taken off of them, which helps their healing process. I'm going to use my Divination Deck, and I'm going to pull some, just to see before we go into the extended, this doesn't have to be, but, some initials or some timing from spirit. Wow. Some things that come out, just what they want you to know. Okay. Wow. Okay, so I'm not getting any initials. That I think they're focused, like, it's so funny. I shuffled and I got 4 cards that came out, and then I flipped over the deck. So we got soon. So I think, potentially you may hear from this person soon, or you may meet someone else, because I was literally just talking about getting yourself out there and meeting people. We got the number 5, so this could be significant. I feel could be 5 days or 5 weeks. We did get days along with this. But the Page of Wands is here, so, you may hear from them, or you may have an opportunity to communicate with them as well. We do have the Take Action card. And so what I would take this as is take action to move this journey forward and this process forward. I wouldn't take this as a, gosh, I can't stop thinking about this person, I'm obsessing about this person, maybe I should reach out and say hi. I would take this as if there's, like I was saying earlier, some sort of a traditional communication pattern that you have with them over time, with a birthday, a holiday, something that I think is confirmation to take action. But I also feel like once you get the communication from them, or if they do come forward and it's, evident that they're still a page and you've been maybe debating about moving on, I think this is confirmation that this is like, take action, just take action. Do not remain stagnant. Do not remain stagnant. And on the bottom, we had the 3. So this could be 3 weeks, 3 days, 5 weeks, 5 days. We also, these add up to 8, which is August. So I was getting the feeling like August could definitely be a pivotal time frame for this connection. So, so if this was resonating for you guys, I'm going to go over into the extended. We are going to look into, I think what I'll do for the extended, since we had them showing up as pages, I think we're going to look, in the immediate future, I think we're just going to take a look at the spread, look at the potential relationship, what I see as, the current potential for that, the energy and the connections, and what spirit wants you to know at this time about this. And we'll look at some affirmations, some angel numbers, and get into that a little bit more in depth. So if you guys would like to purchase that, again, that link is down below to the extended video. And if you would like to schedule your own personal reading, that information is down below as well. Thanks so much. Take care.